Okay. Anyone who doesn't think they should be prioritizing building around 26-year-old Luka over 40-year-old LeBron is either suspended from reality or wants to create drama.
Correct.
I mean,
if his ego bothers you, that means you're egotistical as well. So that kind of contradicts itself. As far as him being the savior, he was the savior of the Lakers. Nobody wanted to go to the Lakers before LeBron got there. And if y'all don't...
The decision has been made. The owner of the Los Angeles Lakers has just reached a final, shocking verdict on the future of LeBron James. A source inside the highest level of the organization has confirmed LeBron will not be with the Lakers when the 2026 season begins. This isn't speculation. This isn't a negotiation tactic. This is the end of the era, decided from the top. This is the inside story of the final meeting, the unbridgeable gap, and the moment the greatest player of this generation became an ex-Laker.
Dan, he has signed 9 contracts in his illustrious career. 8 of them have had player options in them. Not once in the 8 years has he ever taken, or the 8 times, has he ever taken that player option. He has always opted to sign a new contract. This is the first time in 23 years he's ever...
I would only suspect that the, modernization of the Lakers is about to come. And if I were another team, I would not think this is a great development. I think...
According to a high-ranking source, the final decision was not made on a dramatic phone call or in a heated press conference. It was reached in a sober, strategic meeting in Jeanie Buss's office at the Lakers training facility, a meeting attended by only the most essential voices: Buss, General Manager Rob Pelinka, and a senior strategic advisor from the ownership group. The topic was the franchise's 5-year plan, a cold, analytical document that had to account for an aging superstar, salary cap realities, and a dwindling championship window. The numbers, the source says, were the ultimate decider, projecting LeBron's $50+ million player option for the 2025-26 season against his age, 41, and the team's need for a full-scale, youth-oriented rebuild created an unsustainable financial and competitive model. The conversation reportedly shifted from how do we keep LeBron to when is the most strategic time to pivot. The answer, backed by data and long-term modeling, was clear: the summer of 2025. Allowing him to play out his option year would delay the inevitable reset by a crucial season, keeping the franchise in a costly, middling purgatory. The basketball decision and the business decision had become one and the same. The choice was no longer about emotion or legacy, but about the next decade of Lakers basketball. In that room, the LeBron James era in Los Angeles was officially given an expiration date. The numbers don't lie. The future is set. To see how this decision reached LeBron's camp, subscribe now.
One of these stars, namely somebody like Giannis, decides at some point, you know what, I'm not happy in Milwaukee, I want out. And if he wants out, the Lakers will be ready to go, and they're going to hope that they have the proper assets and the proper salaries to match and then give him whatever the hell he wants from 2027 moving forward.
How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm excited to be here. Obviously, I always tune in. You and Steve talking hoop. I'm excited to be a part of it. I wanted to bring up, just bro, how you...
The sterile, data-driven conclusion of that private meeting could not stay private for long. Within 48 hours, the essence of the decision that the Lakers front office had strategically decided a post-LeBron future was necessary and imminent leaked to a prominent national NBA insider. The report was carefully worded, citing organizational direction and long-term roster construction, but the headline was a detonation: Lakers front office planning for future without LeBron James. Inside the Lakers ecosystem, the reaction was instantaneous and volcanic. For LeBron James and his inner circle, led by Rich Paul, this was not just a basketball decision. It was the ultimate sign of disrespect, a preemptive dismissal, a cold corporate calculation that treated him as a depreciating asset to be managed off the books, not a living legend to be revered. Sources close to Clutch Sports describe the mood as beyond anger into a cold fury.
The leak framed LeBron's potential final season in LA not as a glorious farewell tour, but as a lame duck year, a contractual obligation before an arranged divorce. It stripped him of all agency and narrative control. For the players in the locker room, the leak created a surreal and destabilizing atmosphere. The season was still ongoing, but now every game, every practice was overshadowed by the publicly known truth that their leader, the center of their universe, was being phased out by the front office. It introduced a fatalistic tension. Were they playing to win for LeBron or auditioning for a team that would soon not include him? Trust, the fragile bedrock of any contender, began to fracture. The front office's long-term plan had, in an instant, sabotaged the present. The kingdom was now openly aware the king had been served his eviction notice, and the resulting chaos was precisely what the cold, logical 5-year plan had failed to account for. The leak has blown up the season. Now the focus shifts to the king himself. How does LeBron James, a master of narrative control, respond to being told his time is up? His next move will define his exit. Don't miss his power play. Subscribe now.
When I knew I had a gift at like 13, 14, that I was out there on the court and I was running past guys and jumping higher and, you know, making passes and doing things that the other 13, 14, 15, 16-year-olds wasn't doing. I was like, oh shit, this could be it. This could be it. This could be it. And like, I'm living in, you know, Section 8 housing. It's me and my mom, you know.
For LeBron on a good day, whatever. Maybe he makes 25. I don't even know actually his stats. Let's say 20. Okay. Let's make it easy. 20 shots, right? Oh no, I was saying 25 because of volleyball. You go to 25. You make 25 shots, right?
LeBron James, cornered and publicly diminished by the leak, did not retreat. He advanced. Understanding that the narrative of his departure was now the only piece of leverage left, he executed a breathtaking, pre-emptive power play. He did not demand a trade. He did not request a meeting. He simply changed the story. His response came not through his agents, but through his own media company. A meticulously produced 12-minute documentary short titled The Letter was released on his platforms. It began with grainy footage of a young LeBron reading the Sports Illustrated Chosen One letter in Akron. It wove through his career highlights, but focused not on championships, but on moments of building, opening the I Promise School, launching the Voting Rights Initiative, mentoring young players. The narration was in his voice, calm and resolute. They talk about windows, he said, over a shot of him looking out the window of the Lakers' practice facility. Open windows, closing windows. My journey was never about a window. It was about opening doors. Doors for my family, for my community, for the next generation. A franchise, any franchise, is a chapter. The mission is the book. The film ended with a simple card. The mission continues, summer 2025. It was a masterpiece of reframing. The Lakers' final decision was rendered irrelevant. He was not being pushed out. He was moving on to the next phase of his eternal mission. He transformed a front office's cold business decision into his own spiritual ascension. By announcing his departure on his own terms a year early, he stole the Lakers' agency completely. They could no longer plan for a future without him. He had already planned his future without them. He turned his eviction into a voluntary pilgrimage. The power in the relationship, for one final dazzling moment, swung back to the throne. LeBron has seized control of the story. But what happens on the court? The final season of the LeBron James Lakers era has just become the most surreal and compelling season in modern NBA history. The drama is just beginning. Don't miss a second. Subscribe now.
To change a little bit about you?
Yeah, because they just needed something. They needed something. Everything was so positive, you know, and I gave them no reason to make it negative.
It wasn't fucking up.
But they needed anything. You know, I'm doing everything I need to do on the court. I'm not out on the streets. I'm not being caught in all the bullshit that doesn't respect the game and respect my craft. It was like, oh, you decided to go on TV and make a decision.
I'm actually amazed that they're in 5th place. I'll be honest.
Pretty solid, like 10 games above.
I think they've been able to withstand, honestly, with everything that's going on, all the noise, all of the back and forth.
The 2025-26 NBA season commenced not as a basketball campaign, but as a year-long, globally televised epilogue. With LeBron's departure pre-announced, the Los Angeles Lakers became a living, breathing paradox. A team built to win now, led by a legend everyone knew was leaving, playing for a front office already fixated on the future. The atmosphere at Arena was a bizarre fusion of mourning, celebration, and profound awkwardness, a sentiment that seeped into every dribble, every timeout huddle, every post-game press conference. From a competitive standpoint, the season was an unmitigated disaster. The strategic clarity needed for a championship run had evaporated. General Manager Rob Pelinka was paralyzed, unable to trade future assets to win now for a departing star, and unwilling to trade LeBron for a meager return lest they be seen as disrespecting an icon on his farewell tour. The result was a stagnant, incomplete roster. On the court, the psychological toll was even worse. Younger players were caught in an impossible bind. Do we defer to LeBron, knowing he won't be here to help us next year? Or do we assert ourselves for our own futures, risking his ire? The result was a hesitant, disjointed style of play. The assists were there, the numbers were respectable, but the force, the collective, terrifying will that defined LeBron's best teams, was gone. They were a team of tenants, not believers. For LeBron, the season became a surreal exercise in legacy preservation. He played with a remarkable, almost detached consistency, putting up impressive stat lines night after night, but observers noted a missing ferocity. He was no longer imposing his will on the franchise's destiny. He was fulfilling a contractual obligation and putting on a show for the fans. His post-game comments became generic, gracious, and entirely focused on the past tense. He thanked the city, praised the fans, and reminisced about the 2020 championship. He was already speaking as a historian of his own era. The most powerful man in the sport had been transformed by a single business decision and his own brilliant counter-narrative into a highly paid museum exhibit, still magnificent to behold, but with a placard already written for his departure. The king remained on the throne, but the kingdom had already stopped taking his orders. The season is a formality. The true drama is what comes next. The summer of 2025 is the most anticipated offseason in NBA history, and the entire league is positioning itself for the fallout. The chessboard is being set. To see the first major move, subscribe now.
Of the New York Knicks being able to acquire LeBron James. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you'd be down for that or not. Also hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. Let's get deep into it right away, folks, because I know what you're thinking. Richie, this is not happening. LeBron's not coming to the Knicks. And I actually agree. I do think it's a very small chance. But there was a rumor that started this morning from NBA Trade Report on X.
I wasn't a basketball guy. Only person I knew was Kevin Durant.
Wow.
Yeah, that was it. Everybody else, I didn't watch. When he played, I watched. You got to think about it. So Steph was number 4.
As the Lakers' hollow season faded into memory, the NBA's attention snapped to the summer of 2025 with an intensity usually reserved for the finals. LeBron James was not just a free agent, he was a gravitational force about to shift, and every franchise in the league adjusted its orbit. The LeBron sweepstakes was no longer a hypothetical, it was a complex geopolitical event with teams maneuvering cap space, trade assets, and recruiting pitches. The early favorite, according to league insiders, was not a team, but a vision, the New York Knicks. Their pitch, masterminded by power broker William Wesley, was not about a 22nd championship. It was about legacy architecture on a scale only New York could offer. The narrative was the final conquest, bringing a title to the world's most famous arena, the Mecca of basketball, to cement a legacy that spanned coast-to-coast dominance. It was a story about cementing a cultural legacy beyond the parochialism of any one franchise. But a shocking, dark horse contender emerged from the shadows, the Golden State Warriors. The framework, as reported by trusted sources, was audacious. It would require a sign-and trade, sending Andrew Wiggins and a treasure chest of future picks to the Lakers, creating a legacy alliance with Stephen Curry. The pitch was basketball nirvana, the two greatest shooters and off-ball movers of all time playing together, stretching defenses into oblivion and chasing one last ring in a beautiful, poetic symmetry to their 4 finals battles. It was a basketball purist's fantasy, and it had the full, aggressive backing of Warriors owner Joe Lacob. Meanwhile, the Lakers front office, led by Rob Pelinka, was engaged in a frantic dual-track mission. Publicly, they expressed hope for a storybook finish. Privately, they were conducting a ruthless fire sale of any veteran asset not nailed down, aggressively accumulating draft capital and expiring contracts. They were preparing the soil for a scorched earth rebuild, with or without a return from the LeBron transaction. The message was clear. The era of buying expensive, aging superstars was over. The Lakers were going young, whether the fans were ready or not. The Kings' departure was not a catastrophe to be mourned, but a necessary financial and strategic reset they were now eager to execute. The pitches are made, the strategies are set. All that remains is for one man to choose his final act. His decision will redefine multiple franchises for a decade. The moment of truth has arrived. Don't miss the announcement. Subscribe now.
The Murray trade, and I had said that the deal had to be done right, by prior to July 1st, because of Murray's extension kicking in and the numbers working, actually will not be done until July 6th. And when you're so programmed that where I am, I'm focused on the 2024-25 salaries. 2023-24, New Orleans is $280,000 below the luxury tax, and how a trade bonus.
First time in a long time that we didn't hear your name amongst the starters. Did you have a reaction to that?
On a quiet Monday morning in July 2025, LeBron James made the announcement, not from a studio or a press conference, but through a single, elegant post from his media company. The graphic was simple. A silhouette of his iconic crown logo with the skyline of a new city etched inside it. The caption read, "The mission takes me to the city that never sleeps. Let's write the final chapter. #NYC, #Knicks-tape." He was joining the New York Knicks on a 2-year max contract. The basketball world exploded, but the reasoning, in retrospect, was perfectly LeBron. He had conquered the Midwest, the South Beach glamour, and Hollywood. The final, ultimate conquest was the Mecca. It wasn't just about basketball. It was about completing a mythical coast-to-coast saga of American sports dominance. He chose narrative grandeur over the pure basketball fit of Golden State and legacy construction over the emotional tether of Los Angeles. For the Lakers, the official departure was a moment of sobering, jarring clarity. The lights on the LeBron James era were officially off. The press release from the team was gracious, thanking him for the championship and his impact. But within the halls of the training facility, the mood was one of grim focus. The rebuild they had secretly planned for was now public and urgent. The headlines shifted from LeBron leaves to Lakers enter new era with Austin Reeves and draft picks. The king was gone, and the kingdom, after a period of stunned silence, began the arduous work of surveying its new, uncharted, and much quieter landscape. The saga of LeBron James and the Lakers ends not with a bang, but with the cold, strategic whir of a turning page. Jeanie Buss's final call was a brutal piece of corporate foresight that prioritized the franchise's next decade over the sentiments of its iconic present. LeBron's response was a masterclass in legacy control, reframing his exit as a voluntary, heroic next mission. In the end, both parties got what they needed. The Lakers got their financial and strategic freedom, and LeBron got the ultimate narrative finale for his career. It was the messy, calculated, and ultimately inevitable conclusion of a marriage between a living legend and a business empire that could no longer afford his divinity. Who won the breakup? The franchise that boldly chose its future, or the legend who masterfully wrote his own final act? Let us know in the comments. For more deep dives into the seismic shifts that reshape the NBA landscape, hit subscribe.